Dirty Deeds, Monique, 1887. This was crazy. The woman Amaryllis had sent her to talk to was a double for Amaryllis. If all she'd said was true, this woman was Amaryllis, even though she had referred to her as Rockstar. She was dressed in the same black jeans, white shirt, and black leather vest as Amaryllis. She even wore the same black snakeskin boots, with the silver inlay around the edge of the sole and silver-tipped toes. Monique watched as Rockstar took something from her saddlebags, looking around as if she didn't want to be seen. Her horse was a large midnight black stallion, a doppelganger of the stallion Amaryllis had left back in her barn in 2030, the one she called Demon. Why on earth does Amaryllis think this woman would listen to me? She took a deep breath, marching down the boardwalk toward her, determined to at least try. "Are you Rockstar?" she asked. The woman's face lit up with a huge smile at the sight of her. "Shaman woman!" she exclaimed, throwing her arms around her in a hearty embrace. "What are you doing here? I thought I'd never see you again. Aren't you a sight for sore eyes?" She stepped back to give her an appraising look, her eyes examining her up and down. "You look different." Maybe this could work after all. Rockstar seemed to think she knew her. "None of that is important now," she said. "What is important is that you don't try to break that cowboy fellow out of jail." "What?" Rockstar said with a puzzled look. "Cowboy isn't in jail. I just saw him a little while ago in the saloon." She looked her up and down again. "If you're dressed in that outfit to try to fit in here, I'm afraid you missed your mark, girl." She waved her hands toward her, indicating the cream and tan squares which made up her outfit. "That getup is probably better than the bright colors you usually wear, but the geometric block hasn't caught on here yet." "It doesn't matter. I'm just so happy to see you. I'd know you no matter what you wear. How did you get here?" Rockstar pulled Monique into another embrace, but Monique pushed her back. "Stop that. I'm not who you think I am, or at least I'm not who you know as me," she said, holding the other woman at arm's length. "You must listen to what I'm telling you. Amaryllis said it wouldn't make sense now, but it will later. Do not break that cowboy out of jail. Do you understand?" "Amaryllis," Rockstar said. "But I'm Amaryllis. What are you talking about?" "I know it doesn't make sense, but I came here with you, or at least another version of you," Monique said. "That other you calls you Rockstar and—" Two men came running out of the alley, up the street. Rockstar turned her attention there. "Look, there's Cowboy now," she said, pointing to a good-looking cowboy in jeans and a chambray shirt, who looked exactly like the young man with the Palomino horse across the street, the man Amaryllis was talking with at this moment. The older man exited the alley first, looking like something out of a Hollywood Western, in fancy leather chaps, holding a straw cowboy hat atop his head with one hand. He ran across the street toward the Palomino, while the younger man, a doppelganger of the young man with the horse, went running off up the street. She recalled Amaryllis saying that it would be bad if her double saw her, so she grabbed Rockstar by the shoulders with her gnarled hands, turning her away from the scene across the street, thus diverting the other woman's attention while watching the scene unfold over her shoulder. Just as the older man reached the horse, the younger man, who had been talking to Amaryllis, jumped into the saddle, riding away, leaving the older man standing on the street with her new friend. "Two cowboys," Rockstar said, pointing to the man on the horse. "This time travel stuff is a blast. What do you think would happen if they met each other?" "I don't know if it is a blast, but it certainly is confusing," Monique replied. Then she watched as a whole crowd of folks came running out of the alley, marching down the dusty street toward Amaryllis and the older man, looking and sounding angry. They followed the older man, who also headed toward that side of the street. "He killed Chance Weber," someone yelled. "String him up," shouted another voice. Monique saw Amaryllis pulling the older man onto the boardwalk, out of sight, just as the mob converged on the spot where they'd been, across the street. You're right, she said. Time travel really mixes things up. That's why you must listen to me even if you don't understand right now. You will. Okay, shaman woman, Rockstar said. Lighten up, I'm listening. But then she glanced over at her saddle, where she'd balanced the small mirror. Ah, shit! The wind blew it all away. That was my last bump, too. Did you bring any with you? Any what? Monique said. What are you talking about? This is important. Will you listen? Anything, said Rockstar. The last of the coke you packed for me just blew away while I was distracted. I'll take whatever you've got. Even a joint sounds pretty good. I'm afraid I can't help you, Monique said. I don't do drugs. You might acquire some laudanum at the mercantile later, if I remember my history correctly, but there are more important things to tend to now. What do you mean, you don't do drugs? Rockstar said. Since when? I finished off an entire bottle of that damn rock gut whiskey they sell in this time. She held up an empty bottle for Monique to see. Shit's nasty. You sure you don't have anything? Look, I'm not who you think I am, Monique said. She hadn't pegged this woman for a druggie or an alcoholic. When Amaryllis first arrived on her doorstep, she'd said something about a joint and she'd balked at the carrot juice she'd offered her, but the woman in front of her was in a near panic for something to get high on. Could that other version of herself, the one this woman called Shaman Woman, have such bad habits too? Or, I am, but I'm not the same person. Apparently neither are you. I don't know who you are, but you're not Shaman Woman, Rockstar said, pulling away from her. This is not a funny joke. I'm not listening to anything you have to say. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't want any part of it. Darling girl, you're already smack dab in the middle of it, Monique replied. She knew she had to think fast to accomplish her task. This woman wasn't going to listen to her, just as she suspected. The sound of loud voices drew her attention back up the main street, where a posse was herding the cowboy who'd run off down the street in front of them. Now she would have to believe her. See, that's your cowboy there, coming in with that posse, or at least I think it is, she said, grabbing Rockstar by the shoulders once more. Whoever it is, you can't go breaking him out. You hear? What am I supposed to do? Just let him sit in jail until they hang him? Rockstar said, turning to face her with tears running down her cheeks. What am I supposed to do without him? He's all I've got in this time. Isn't there somebody else you can turn to for help? Monique asked. She didn't know enough about what was supposed to happen in this woman's timeline, or loop, or whatever, to offer any sound advice. Just remember, you cannot break him out. I thought I could turn to you, Rockstar said. If you really were Shaman Woman, you could look into the future and tell me what I should do. Your Monique could see into the future? She asked. Amaryllis had told her that, but she'd spouted off so many strange things, they all sounded crazy. Well, of course. That's why I call you Shaman Woman, Rockstar said. You never go anywhere without your bones. Or she didn't. Don't you read the bones? No, I'm afraid not, Monique said, shaking her head. Her hand found the small bag of possum bones in her pocket. She moved them inside the bag, feeling them rattle against each other, giving her a soothing feeling. She'd been told that her grandmother, on her father's side, was a voodoo priestess down in New Orleans before her family moved to California, but her mother thought it was nonsense. She had discouraged her spending any amount of time with the woman, so she never got to know her. Had the other Monique known her grandmother? Learning her magic? No, impossible. I don't believe in all of that. Then I see no reason to listen to you, Rockstar said. You are not Shaman Woman. You're just boring. That's what you are. Shaman Woman shined with the brightness of the sun. Do you even have a personality under your shrunken, wrinkled form? You're going to go in search of a way to break that boy out as soon as I leave, aren't you? Monique asked, ignoring the comparison of her other self. She could see this discussion was going south. She needed to find a way to stop this woman from screwing things up more than they already were. I cannot tell a lie, Rockstar said. Likely as not, that's just what I'll do. I just need to figure out how to go about it. Monique knew she was losing this battle. She had to think fast. Are you sure that whiskey bottle is empty? She reached out, snatching it off the saddle, turning it upside down to be sure there was no more of the golden liquid inside. She held it up, looking it up and down. Of course it's empty, Rockstar said. Why else would I be trying to get something from you? I'm all out. The plan forming in Monique's mind really didn't appeal to her. She had to try once more. Is there nothing I can do or say to make you let things lie? What can I say to make you believe me? Are you going to stick around in this time and help me out? Rockstar asked. I can't lie either, Monique said. She wasn't going to stay here any longer than she had to. Probably not. Then I'm going to do what I have to do, Rockstar said. If you can't tell me how to live here without him, then I have no choice but to find a way to get him back. Besides, he saved my butt back in our time. I owe him. That's what I was afraid of. It looked as if she had no choice. Look, she said, pointing to a spot behind Rockstar toward the saloon with the signage labeling it Maggie's Place. Isn't that your cowboy there? When Rockstar turned her head to see who she was talking about, Monique raised the bottle, smashing it over Rockstar's head. The woman slumped to the ground next to her horse. The big black stallion sidestepped as the woman's unconscious form rolled toward it. When he did, she glimpsed an Appaloosa mare that looked familiar. Blaze, she said. She reached out, rubbing her horse's nose. Amaryllis had said that her cowboy had ridden Blaze into the past. This horse was her Blaze in every detail. It didn't matter that she knew her Blaze was tucked away back in her stable at home. She couldn't deny her eyes. Hey, girl, how's it going? Looks like that cowboy fellow is treating you right. Monique automatically stuck her hand into her pocket for a treat for the horse. It was her habit to always have something on hand. Instead, she found the pouch with her grandmother's possum bones, rolling the bones between her fingers through the soft fabric. Again, a soothing feeling came over her. She'd been able to fool herself into believing the stallion only looked like the horse Amaryllis had arrived on at her place, the one they'd left at her stable with Blaze. But there was no mistaking that this horse was her mare. She'd raised that horse from a foal. If that part of what Amaryllis had told her was true, then it followed that the rest was true as well. It was time she admitted that they had indeed come back in time, and she believed that Amaryllis meant well. Monique knew she was stuck here for the time being. She didn't have any choice but to help her do what she came here to do. She had done what she had to in order to accomplish her task. That girl wouldn't be breaking anyone out of jail, at least not until she woke up. In for a penny, in for a pound, she said, heading back to the meeting spot behind the mercantile.